and be critical of what you get in the, not in the universities. I think in the elite university, there's been almost a closing of the American minds.
Yes.
Closing of young minds, reversing the truth. Israel is the problem in the Middle East. No, Israel is the solution in the Middle East.
Absolutely.
Israel is the enemy of the United States. Israel is the friend of the United States. Israel, in many ways, is confronting the very enemies that would like to destroy America. And unfortunately, this rot has entered into the campuses. There are all sorts of NGOs that were doing this. Unfortunately, Qatar was doing this.
Yes, of course.
They were giving a lot of this stuff, promoting a lot of this stuff. And you see it, unfortunately, in Al Jazeera, too, in Arabic. Just promoting this anti-Americanism and anti-Zionism, which is weaved together. And I would say it's time for a change. And I think Donald Trump is bringing that change. And good for him. It's about time.
I do too, and I encourage you. We're raising up because we recognize our own battles here and raising up a generation. My son pastors now. He's almost 40 years old in a few months, and he's one of the biggest advocates for Israel. There are those voices, but the Bible is very clear that a house divided cannot stand. So the enemy outside attacked within. If I can get within and divide the people against each other. And there are some things that are non-compromising to God, and Israel is one of those. And with a biblical view as a Christian, you must understand. I told Niv, I said, you could be Jewish without being Christian, but you cannot be Christian without understanding the roots of Judaism. It's impossible.
Which is, the roots of Christianity are embedded.
Absolutely.
And Judaism, as you know, but it's not accidental that the founders of Israel, even though many of them were secular, they were also imbued with the Bible.
Sisera's father is a scholar.
Well, he was a poet and a writer, but he was a great biblical scholar and a teacher of the Bible. So he in fact was a member of David Ben-Gurion's first Bible study group. David Ben-Gurion was our first prime minister. And it's so significant how significant the Bible was for him in that generation. Even the secular leaders among them believed that the Bible was the foundation of our existence and of our renewal. So they had a Bible study class of which my late father-in-law was a member. One time we brought my wife, Sarah, she was a little girl, to that place where they met. And many years later, I renewed the Bible study group in the Prime Minister's residence because I believe that the Bible is the foundation on which we stand. By the way, 3 of Sarah's brothers were national Bible quiz champions. We have a Bible quiz. It's tough.
Yeah.
And they were champions. And our son, at the age of 15, was the national Bible champion, too. So we've got the Bible running strongly in my family.
I so admire this because one of the things with Judaism and Israel is there is such an understanding of your faith. People really study the Torah, study the Word of God, and the importance of that. As you kind of mentioned before, we touched on this, that there's this false narrative going out to America, particularly through the fake news, through probably outlets and maybe even people that have been, I always say, follow the money trail and find out, why someone's saying what they're saying. Or because in America, I would, if I'd be in a city and I would see these protesters that were against America, against Israel, I'd try to go up and sometimes speak to a few of them. They had no idea.
They don't have a clue.
Not a clue what they were even, quote unquote, protesting. I started thinking, they're being paid, really. I mean, I thought, like, what are they, and it wasn't nearly as big as the media would make it look. It was a very small handful of people. But let's talk about that, because around the world there are, President Trump might call them some bad actors, and then there are good countries and countries that are not. Israel is it's the religious right, but it's also geopolitically right, the only place of democracy in the Middle East. And some of that messaging has come from other countries. Maybe it's Iran, Qatar. Talk to me about some of the things that we fight here in America that people might not recognize.
Well, I think you're right. Iran has been sponsoring this, but Qatar has to choose. I think our newly appointed ambassador says you can't fund the arsonists and the firefighters at the same time. You can't do that. So you have to choose. Which side are you on?
Yeah.
You can't play all sides. Choose. They recently helped us with the ceasefire, the temporary ceasefire. But they were hosting these Hamas terrorists. Choose.
Yeah.
Choose. If that choice is made stark and clear, I think it'll help everyone. It'll help everyone in the Middle East, everyone in the world. And it will help also get the facts straight. The most important thing is people have to, you say they have to get the facts straight. They don't know any facts. They don't even have crooked facts or false facts. They don't know anything.
Yeah.
They just say, Israel is the bad guy and they go in. I think America has no greater friend than Israel. No greater ally.